Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 954. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm on Chris. What's with Chris?
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so I know we didn't get to do the Everything Show the other day, and there's been a build-up of news. This morning, I got to watch the Justice League trailer. We'll start off with that because I just said it. I gotta tell you, well, first I want to get your reaction because I did see something on Facebook that you posted about it. So I am curious as to what your opinion is of the Justice League trailer.
Quite simply, I'm kind of done with the DC universe. The trailer wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it was bad.
Okay.
But I went into it not expecting anything. I didn't think it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be bad. I was just saying I hope it's good. Obviously, but I didn't think oh, this is going to be good. Like I wasn't going into it like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be a great trailer. I was just like, oh, the trailer's out. Let me watch it. And nothing really impressed me in the trailer. There was like 2 shots in the trailer that I liked. I thought most of it looked pretty bad, to be honest with you. Looked pretty bad. Not that the trailer itself bad. I mean, like, the actual CGI and stuff looked bad, especially Cyborg.
Right.
There's that one shot in the trailer after, I guess, he tackles that tank or whatever that is, and I think he says to that police officer, you should probably move. Watch that frame over again.
Okay.
The CGI is not done.
Wow.
It's just not done. I'm sorry, it's not done. I'm not a CGI expert or anything like that,
Right.
but wow. So
Yeah.
I hope they fix it before the movie comes out. Other than that, there was that shot of Batman swinging by those laser blasts. That was cool. And then there was a shot towards the end of the Amazons fighting, I'm guessing, the parademons that were there, which the parademons look cool too. But I thought Wonder Woman was laughable in the trailer. She didn't impress me at all. The Flash didn't impress me at all. Cyborg didn't impress me. Batman was okay, and Cyborg again. Aquaman. He was okay, I guess. Aquaman was all right, but then there was that part where he jumps on the Batmobile and he shouts, "Yeah!" and I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Commissioner Gordon. Fine. I don't have a problem with him. It didn't excite me. It just didn't excite me at all. Maybe the next trailer will, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll go see it. But as of right now, I'm not interested in DC anymore with these movies. I'm kind of just done.
It's very interesting you say that because I think you and I, sometimes we disagree.
Mm-hmm.
We have totally different opinions of things, and then most of the time we agree on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the teasers, if you remember, I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated Bruce. Why is Bruce Wayne getting these people together? Like, what is this garbage? And I expected when I was going to watch the trailer that I wasn't going to like it. I was like, oh, this is going to suck. I'm going to hate it. And then I watched it. I wasn't expecting it like when I was, but when I watched it, I watched it a couple of times, and I'm like, for some reason, and I don't know why, but I really, really liked it. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, one thing I didn't like about it, of course, Superman wasn't in, but then you know why,
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I really liked Commissioner Gordon. I thought, he wasn't, talking the same like he used with other characters. He was really researching it, and he looked like, totally different. You didn't even know it was him.
He looked a lot older, which makes sense.
Yeah. I really liked that they took attention to detail, really, with that. I liked more screen. See, the thing is, I'm a Marvel guy, but of the DC guys, I'm a Batman guy and Superman, So seeing him in the bat suit, a lot of scenes, I was happy with that. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank God. We don't have to see old Bruce Wayne. I thought the thing with the Flash was cool, but of course I like the CW Flash better, Grant Gustin. Wonder Woman, all right, she did that kick. That wasn't really anything. I liked Aquaman, I think, the best. because I thought that, if you look at the history of what we had with Aquaman, like the Super Friends, and I'm not talking about your history, I'm talking about when I was a kid,
Oh yeah.
it's like night and day. And
Yeah.
I like this Aquaman. Okay, I'm like,
He definitely looks like the redesign, the recasting, this reimagining of him. I think looks really great, and I think it was a great idea. He just didn't do anything for me in the trailer.
and I just want to say that I got interested in wanting to see the Aquaman movie because of this trailer. Like I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Because honestly, what kind of versions did I have when I was a kid? It was always like, nothing like this. I mean, this is totally different. So I was like, oh, this is appealing to me. Now, Cyborg, I wasn't really impressed with. I really don't care about Cyborg. And again, like, I'm Grant Gustin Flash. So, but it was cool. He's growing on me a little bit.
Right.
The whole thing about, the Wonder Woman Batman interaction. And then they showed a scene of Amy Adams, right? Like looking in the streets. Is that what,
Yeah.
And I'm like, couldn't they give us something with Superman? But overall, I genuinely really liked the trailer. Now, I thought it was so cool. Some of the things I like the scene with. I know you thought it was stupid, but I like the scene with Aquaman, where he's like, you learn to play with others. Like with Commissioner Gordon, he's like, something about changing his mind, and then I like
that was okay. I'm talking about the one
Batmobile.
where he jumps
I
on
like
the
that.
Batmobile.
I like that. I thought it was pretty funny, actually.
Like
because he would be like, get off my Batmobile, like It's,
well, again, like go back and watch that scene, and it looks
he's
off.
like, yeah, and
like it just looks off.
Right.
I felt like I was watching a video game,
right?
Which is weird because normally CGI like that doesn't bother me.
Right.
But in this, I think it was because everything was happening at night almost.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, whatever.
I thought it was pretty funny how we got to see some stills of Spider-Man Homecoming too. Like just pictures.
Yeah.
It would look pretty cool, him with the jacket on, Spider-Man and everything. But yeah, overall, I like the Justice League trailer. But again, I don't know if I'm going to like the movie. So we're going to have to see. And I don't know. What's the decision with the Justice League trailer? Is it split or is it overall positive?
Most of the people I know were pretty disappointed.
Okay.
I don't know what the general consensus is. I just watched Angry Joe's reaction.
Yeah.
He was pretty happy with most of it.
Okay.
But he pointed out a lot of the things that I was unhappy about.
Right.
He really did an in-depth thing with the cyborg scene that I was talking about. And there's actually, when he first, because he watched the trailer and before he reacted to it, when that scene happens, when he first sees it,
yeah,
he makes a face like, what the fuck is wrong with this scene?
Well, I noticed something was weird, like choppy when I first saw his face.
You know what it is? He made a really good point too. I think in that scene, his whole figure, even that part of his face, is CGI.
Okay.
But the rest of it looks like the real face.
I don't like when the helmet came on. It seemed like it's too Star-Lord-ish or trying to imitate.
He looked like Deadshot
or something.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what Cyborg looks like to me? He almost looks like a Bionicle.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at it, and there's one part because I remember from one of the movies, one of the villains, she wore a red crystal on her chest. He's got like the same exact red crystal on his chest, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I've seen that before.
Right.
But it wasn't a bad trailer. I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, had I not seen the Batman versus Superman trailers,
yeah,
this probably would have excited me a lot more. But those Batman versus Superman trailers were really good. Well, except for the one with Doomsday. And the movie was still bad. So it's like, I don't trust DC's trailers. I just don't. Because you know that you're going to go to this movie and it's probably going to be a mess.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the thing is that the next DC movie is Wonder Woman, and we don't even know how that's going to be. I mean, I would have thought they would have showed another trailer by now, a Wonder Woman or something, or maybe before it comes out. I mean, because when does it come out? In June?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, we're not. I mean, it's gonna be April. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for, but that's gonna tell the tale really, how Wonder Woman does. And as far as I know, there's nothing really in there that's like wow factor yet. So we have to wait and see. And I'm not being a hater, by the way. I'm just saying, being practical. I don't see anything yet, but it could blow my mind, and I could love Wonder Woman. So we'll see. We got some other stuff, news that happened. Now, you want to save the Godzilla thing for another cast so we can go detail into that, or you want to?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to because there's a lot.
Yeah.
Why
don't we jump into some other story then?
Well, we could talk about Rebels because the season finale was today.
Yeah, let's go.
Now, this is gonna be spoilers, so if you haven't seen Rebels, stop watching now.
Okay.
Okay. So, as you know, I wasn't too thrilled with last week's episode with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, twin sons.
Right.
I'm happy to say that the season finale this week, it was an hour special, and it was pretty good.
Okay.
It was called 0 Hour, and it was a 2-part special. It was an hour special.
Right.
And basically, what has been happening throughout this series is there have been a couple of Empire defectors that will send messages to the rebels, like they're deep cover agents almost. And they'll send information to the rebels telling them that this stuff is happening, or something's happening here, or this is what they're planning to do. Okay. And they're called fulcrum agents.
All right.
One of them is a former villain called Agent Callus, who, again, was a villain. He had a history with one of the characters, or with the species of one of the characters in Rebels, Zeb. And there was an episode where him and Zeb were trapped on this moon, and they helped each other survive. And Callus decided to become a fulcrum agent because he's starting to realize that the Empire is not what it seems. Like, maybe it's not the best thing for the galaxy.
Right.
So, in a few episodes ago, Grand Admiral Thrawn discovers that Agent Callus is fulcrum. But he doesn't tell anybody. Well, he tells one guy, but he keeps most of it a secret because he says, well, we could use this fulcrum agent to our advantage. So in this episode, he confronts Callus about it, and he captures him. And because of this, he discovers where the secret rebel base is before Yavin, before they go to the one on Yavin. So he attacks the planet that they're on, and the rebels get messed up in this episode. It's not even close. Thrawn deals them a pretty decisive victory, to the point where they have to retreat. And they couldn't even retreat at one point. He had the planet basically blockaded where they couldn't retreat. The best part of the episode, in my opinion, had to do with Bendu, or the Bendu, who is the character that Tom Baker voices.
Okay.
Now, to refresh everybody's memory, the Bendu is a Force-sensitive being who, when Kanan first met him, Bendu told him that he is neither a Jedi nor a Sith. He's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And he is part of a race of beings that are highly Force-sensitive, and basically this idea of the gray kind of thing, except they don't use that idea of the gray. They're just Force-sensitive, and they don't choose a side. They remain neutral. They're peaceful. Mm-hmm. So Kanan goes to Bendu to tell him, listen, Thrawn's coming. We need your help. And Bendu's like, this is your fault. You brought war to my planet. He goes, it took me a long time to find a planet that was peaceful where there would be no war. And Kanan's trying to get him to fight, and Bendu's like, I'm not helping you. I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. Okay? So Kanan basically pisses him off. And I have to say this. In my opinion, I think Bendu is probably one of the most powerful Force users in canon.
Wow.
Because basically, what he does is he creates something called a Force Storm, which is an old canon ability, where he literally becomes like a storm, like a hurricane. And on the planet, Thrawn has ground troops, and they have the walkers, the four-legged walkers, the ones from Hoth, for those who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're attacking the base, and Bendu.
Yeah, that walkers. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Bendu shows up in this force storm, and he uses force lightning that literally blows these things up. Like bolts of lightning shoot from the sky, and they hit these AT-ATs, and they just explode. So Thrawn is like, what the hell? Like, even Thrawn was freaked out by this. He's like, this is Jedi devilry. How are you doing this? He's talking to Kanan at this point. He's like, how are you doing this? So they get away, and Thrawn realizes that Bendu's in the storm, and he shoots him down. And he goes over to Bendu at the end of the episode, and Bendu says, you don't see it, do you? And Thrawn says, what do you see? He goes, I see your defeat. And he says, I might get the quote wrong, but he says something to the effect of, I see it like cold arms embracing you. And then Thrawn shoots Bendu, and this was the big thing. You know how Yoda and Obi-Wan disappear when they die? He disappears when he dies. And you hear his laugh in the background. And then the episode ends. So Thrawn survived. He's going to be in the next season. I know a big fear was that they were going to kill him off. Mm-hmm. He did not die. He survived. And it was a pretty decent way to wrap up the season. This season hasn't really been that great. Mm-hmm. But I have to say that this season finale, while it wasn't as good as the last season finale, was pretty good. And I definitely recommend watching it if you really want to see a really vicious Thrawn and just to see what Bendu does.
And Bendu is Tom Baker.
Yeah. And he does a great job as the voice actor. He's so good. It's such a different role from the Doctor because, yes, he's wise. Yes, he helps. But when he gets angry in this episode, it's scary. It's really scary.
Wow.
So I definitely recommend checking out at least the clips. I think they uploaded them officially on YouTube.
Send me the clips. I'll go watch.
I will, yeah. But definitely, I was definitely happy with the way they used Thrawn because that's been one of the criticisms from a lot of people, including myself, that Thrawn has kind of taken a back seat. Yeah. But in this episode, in these two episodes, he is front and center. He's the main villain. And, even Tarkin is like, just do it. Just do what you do. Just go do what you do. And, I mean, he's great. I can't wait to see him in Season 4. And none of the major characters died. What was that?
Next season's not the last season.
I think it is. I think next season is the last season.
It is. Okay.
I'm almost certain. There's going to be more about that at Star Wars Celebration. So, but I definitely recommend checking that out.
Could it be possible that because the next season is going to take place in 2018, right? Or no?
I think actually it starts up at the end of this year. Into 2018.
So wouldn't it be possible that they would do 2 more seasons to coincide with the episodes, even though it has nothing to do with the episodes, like episode 8 and then episode 9, and then
it depends on how much of a time skip there is, because there was a bit of a time skip between last season and this season. I think this season took place like 1 or 2 years out from Rogue One.
Okay.
I think I might be wrong about that, but we're getting close to where Rogue One is.
Right.
And I have a very funny feeling that next season is going to be the last season, and I think we're going to see a lot of Vader, a lot of Thrawn. I have a feeling Palpatine's going to show up at some point. And I also think we're going to see the establishment of Yavin, the base on Yavin.
Right.
And I think we're going to see a lot of the characters die. I do. I think we're going to see.
Couldn't they just let it continue where, even if it gets past Star Wars, they could just keep going, or no?
Well, yes, they could. However, how do you explain Ezra and Kanan? Because they're both Jedi-like, quote unquote. Kanan more so than Ezra. I mean, I have a feeling that if they were around, they probably would have met up with Luke. Luke would have wanted to meet them, especially after Obi-Wan died. And I think that they all probably would have gone to see Yoda, because why not train 3 Jedi rather than just 1?
Right.
So I think that something happens to Kanan and Ezra where either they die or they're wounded or they have to leave.
Couldn't they at least last until Empire before he gets trained by Yoda, Luke, and like maybe Darth Vader just like wipes them out or kills them before?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's possible because, thinking about it, in that movie, Luke's training was pretty much isolated to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is possible. The thing is that there have been Star Wars comics in between Episode 4 and 5, and Luke never meets them. So I mean, I guess they could be doing.
the thing
else.
is, I could see now. I know that they're making a new animated, right?
That's the rumor, yeah.
Okay. My thing is this. I mean, they basically nobody really wants to end an animated thing for Star Wars where they're doing so well,
right?
And at least it has something else, another outlet for the kids to watch as well as the adults. And the thing is that you need something to be out there between the time of Episode 8, Episode 9, something extra. So why not give it like a commitment of like 7 years at least? Because that's the old adage that like when it reaches 7 seasons, like lucky number 7, that it could end on a high note. And they've done that a lot with the Star Trek series. They'll purposely end it at season 7. And there's no rule or canon that it has to end before Star Wars. Like it could continue around that timeline after Star Wars. They can introduce new characters. They can show bounty hunters. They can show Jabba. Now again, I'm not familiar with Rebels, but if they went up into Empire, like halfway point in the movie, or something like before he gets to Yoda, where they're wiped out. Because that's the thing. Once he becomes training, he's going to know if there's Jedi around, like with Yoda.
That's the thing too, because Yoda knows about Ezra and Kanan, and he's actually spoken to Ezra.
Right.
And Kanan, I think, at one point too, if I remember correctly. So it's like, even Obi-Wan now knows of Ezra. So
it could be a thing where originally the plan was, besides Yoda, like they were going to be part of the plans, and then they die, and then Obi-Wan's like, you got to go see Yoda, whatever. And that could be a thing because maybe they were part of the plans, but then they got wiped out by Darth Vader, and then they could just show that. They could show different scenes where like Yoda's like, we just lost them. What hope do we? Just like we have to train him. That's it. We have no choice. And then they could do that. So
what they could do, because we know that one of the characters, Hera, or actually 2 of the characters, Hera and Chopper, who is their droid, and their ship, the Ghost, makes it at least to Rogue One, because they're mentioned in Rogue One. You see Chopper in Rogue One, and you see the Ghost in Rogue One. So those characters in that ship have to make it out, at least to Rogue One.
Well, let me ask you a question. I have this funny feeling now.
Yeah.
And I heard that, because Rogue One did so phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, they're really interested in doing a proper prequel without it interfering with the main story. Because the ship was there in Rogue One, what are the odds of them doing a Star Wars Rebels live-action movie that takes place during Rogue One and then after Rogue One?
Well, that has actually, I don't know about the time period, but that has been something that has been talked about by a lot of people, fans mostly, who have said, this could translate to a movie that could be canon, obviously, and show the future. I think it could work. My only thing is, I don't know how gung-ho they would be about having one of their animated properties become live action for a movie. Could be done. I think it could.
It's canon, right? I mean.
Oh yeah, Rebels is canon. Yeah.
Okay.
My thing is there's a major loose end that they have to tie up, and that's Ahsoka, because apparently she's still alive. And if Ahsoka's still alive, that's another Force sensitive, pretty powerful one who's running around out there.
Right.
She's trapped on Malachor as far as we know right now. But that was the last time we saw Vader as well. in Rebels.
Okay.
We saw him walking away. So I think in season 4, that's another thing they're going to tie up. I wouldn't be opposed to like Hera maybe showing up in episode 8 for like a scene and being like this, you know, talking to Leia or something. But the thing is, you know what's funny? In a lot of the canon material that takes place like towards episode 7, they are literally never mentioned. Like once. I don't remember them being mentioned in Bloodline, in Aftermath, or
and just because they're not mentioned doesn't mean they're not canon.
Yeah, no, they are definitely canon. It's just we don't know what happened to them. Right. And it's like I think that they're probably all dead, to be honest with you.
Right.
However, it's kind of difficult because it's like we have these new characters that a lot of people like, but the future 4, 5, and 6 are already set. So it's like you can't really squeeze them into anything main because it's like, well, why weren't they in the movie? Because they didn't exist. Right. So it's like you have to give them side things to do, which I guess, like you said, is possible. I think if they do another animated series, it's going to be something totally different. I think they're going to do a different time period, and it's going to be new characters. And
I mean, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, let it go a couple of years. I mean, keep it going, Star Wars Rebels, for like 7 seasons, I would think.
I don't even think they expected it to go this long, to be honest with you.
I mean, the ratings are high, right?
Who knows?
Everybody loves it. All right, I want to talk about one thing before we get out of here on this particular Everything show.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, the reports are that they are not altering any scenes with Leia from episode 8. Everything's intact. Everything's going to happen the way it is.
Yep.
And they'll do something in 9 where she just gets killed or something, I guess. Or whatever. Unless, of course, maybe she does die and she filmed the scene that she dies, which they couldn't tell us because then it would ruin the whole movie.
Exactly, yeah.
So my thoughts are they made a big thing about what are we going to do when they already know they don't have to do anything because maybe she dies anyway. You know? So, I mean, I'm glad that they're not altering anything because it would have looked forced or faked or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
I'm glad it's staying the way it is. And of course, we know that movie is just going to destroy records beyond belief. I mean, some would say that they don't think it's going to do Force Awakens numbers, but I tend to disagree. That's a possibility, I think. What do you think?
I think it's possible. Yeah. I think with the way Rogue One performed and the way the Force Awakens performed, I think Episode 8 is gonna be huge. The one thing that keeps me from saying that it's definitely going to do Force Awakens numbers, which I think is possible, but the one thing that keeps me from saying that, you know, definitively is I don't know what it is, and we've talked about this before, and, you know, everyone has their own theories about why this is, but recently, in the past few months, there's been a lot of negativity around The Force Awakens. There's been a lot of people that now consider it bad, and I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you why. I mean, from my opinion, which I still okay. The thing is that you haven't had a Star Wars movie that's a sequel in like friggin' decades. Okay, I'm talking a sequel to Jedi, not like the prequels because we didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking a pure sequel. Okay, so we've been without for like 30 years or something, let's say, right? So you put something out and everybody goes ape shit over it. Doesn't matter, oh my God, whatever, right? Then we talk about Rogue One. Oh, it's going to do well. It's not going to do like Force Awakens numbers, but it's going to do whatever. Now we thought maybe, okay, you know. And this movie comes out and people are seeing this war actually in the movie, the way it's supposed to be represented. And people are like, holy shit. This is been amazing. Like, why can we have like Star Wars movies like this? Like, Jesus. And it's like the space battles, you know, I'm fucking Darth Vader. Jesus, what the fuck? Right? So now this just raised the fucking bar where people are now going back to Force Awakens, and they're like, like, you know, another Death Star, but, you know, Star Killer. I mean, you know, instead of shooting plans, shooting gas. I mean, like, that happened already. And then the dialogue in the war room, and like Han Solo, like, yeah, I could get the plans, and yeah, and it's like they're like, well, wait a minute, this is kind of like a reboot of, like, you know what I'm saying, Star Wars a little bit, you know, and then it's like a reversal where instead of the person getting tempted by the dark side, they get tempted by the light side. So it was like a twist there. And people were like, you know, could Episode 8 be like Rogue One? I mean, am I right? I mean,
no. I think you're absolutely right. My only thing is, in my opinion, if you look at the two movies, I still think The Force Awakens is superior because I think Rogue One has a couple of problems that do hurt it a bit, that keep it from me anyway, from being like a 10 out of 10. Not that I was expecting a 10 out of 10 because I don't think any movie is really a 10 out of 10. But, I mean, Rogue One, I think, has a couple of problems. Well, I got to tell you, I am far more invested in the characters from The Force Awakens than I am in the ones at Rogue One.
Well, they're dead anyway. But
I mean, they're dead, yeah. But I got to say, even though I really liked Rogue One. I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. For me, I still think The Force Awakens is a bit better.
Right. I'll give you another example, if I can.
Yeah. No, but my only thing is, just because Rogue One was different doesn't mean The Force Awakens is bad. That's my.
I didn't say it was bad. But
no. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying just that's my thought on, like, you know, I don't know what. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that still like The Force Awakens, but recently it's just everything I see about it is just negative. Well, and then you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Episode 8's going to come out. And if it's different, then Rogue One is going to get a whole bunch of negativity, and it's going to be like,
or no, I don't think Rogue One will ever get negativity.
Oh, it's got negativity.
Well, I don't think we'll get higher negativity, Rogue One.
Hopefully not. No.
All right, let me finish my other example. We get introduced to these characters talking about Darth Vader in Star Wars: New Hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about him like, oh my God, he's freaking unstoppable, whatever. We see him, it's like, holy shit, you know? There is no weakness whatsoever with this villain. He just killed freaking Ben Kenobi. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What are we gonna do? And, you know, he destroys the Death Star now. Okay, his ship gets knocked out, but that's not even a weakness thing. That was just like whatever. Empire Strikes Back. Holy shit, right? You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you find out he's Luke's father, chops his hand off, and you find out he's Luke's father. And then you're like, what the fuck are they going to do? Like, what are they going to... And Darth Vader's like, holy shit, you know? Mm-hmm. So, with Kylo Ren, you know, he first appeared, oh, this guy's really cool, man. He could be, like, up there with Darth Vader, right? But then you get to that scene where it's, to me, it's kind of like, I love the scene with Rey and him where he takes the mask. I mean, I don't love that he took the mask off. I had a problem with that, okay? Because you kind of like don't want to do that with the villain. You don't want him to see their face, like Darth Vader didn't see his face until a Jedi, you know? So I was kind of like, but it was like a sign of weakness. Like when she kicked his ass in that Force battle thing, like back and forth, and he's like starting like, he like immediately had like fans probably got pissed off, like, this guy sucks. I mean, it's like a thing where she kicked his ass, whatever, and then he put her to sleep. But that kind of stood in people's minds, you know, like he's a whiny friggin', you know, boo-hoo-hoo Han Solo, Princess Leia, like, you know, spoiled brat. So he wasn't like Darth Vader's here, you know, of favorite characters, and he's like, he could have been here, but then he's like here.
Well, I think that's a fallacy because here's my thing.
This is just my opinion, not anybody else's opinion.
No, because that's a popular opinion, and this is one of the points where I have to call that out because
Okay.
There's a couple of reasons why I don't find that to be true.
Okay.
One, the major criticism of this movie is that it's too much like A New Hope.
Right.
So if our villain is exactly like Darth Vader,
I didn't say he had to be exactly like Darth Vader. I just said
or if they try to make him better than Darth Vader, here's the impossible thing to do. You're never going to make a villain in Star Wars that's better than Darth Vader.
right. He
It's
never
not
said
going
he
to happen.
had to, but
So don't even try.
Right.
My thing is this. A, Vader was much older than him. He had formal training. He's a Sith. He acts differently. He was the chosen one. He's exponentially more powerful than pretty much everybody else. That's why Kylo Ren's not like him. That's number one. Number two, Kylo Ren is being torn between the light and the dark.
Right.
He is being something that he doesn't want to be, but he thinks it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Another problem is he is not completely trained like Vader was. And this is another thing, too. When Vader first got into the Empire, nobody respected him. They thought he was a weirdo. They thought he was he's just that guy that hangs out by the Emperor. Mm-hmm. Look at the way they talk to him in A New Hope. Right. They make fun of him. They're like, oh, Vader with your Force stuff, right?
Right.
It wasn't until, like, Empire that all of a sudden they're like, don't fuck with him.
Yeah, he'll fucking kill you. Yeah.
He'll kill you.
Right.
So my thing is this. They did something different with Kylo Ren, and people are like, well, what? No. He's not like Vader. He's never going to be like Vader. He's trying to be like Vader, but he's not going to. And I got to tell you, I'm going to get comments for this one. I know that. But I found his character in The Force Awakens to be more interesting than Vader from A New Hope.
What?
Because Vader, if you look at him in A New Hope, he doesn't do anything.
Oh, God. Really? Wow.
He's just bad guy. He's just the dark bad guy. Oh, I don't care. Vader's still my favorite Star Wars character.
Right.
But now, okay, Empire and Return of the Jedi, obviously he's the greatest friggin' thing
right
in Star Wars, other than Luke.
Right.
But I got to tell you though, if you asked me, if you showed me A New Hope and The Force Awakens and I'd never seen them before, and you asked me which one of these villains is more interesting, I say Kylo Ren. Okay. But if you show me Empire and The Force Awakens, it's obviously Vader.
Right. Okay.
And same thing with Return of the Jedi. And even to a point, Rogue One.
That was an amazing thing with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any scene is going to... I mean, unless Luke does something unbelievable in 8, which I hope he does.
Listen, he might.
I hope he does something crazy in Episode 8. I really do.
Right. Man. So, I mean, we have Snoke training Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
But that rule of 2 is out because there's no more Sith, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So couldn't Snoke be training like 10 people?
I think he's training the other Knights of Ren if they're Force sensitive.
Oh, is that what it is?
Here's my thing. I don't know if any of the other Knights of Ren are Force sensitive. Okay. Because it doesn't seem like it from where they're going with it.
So that could be the surprise for Episode 8 because you're always thinking in your head, just two.
Right.
And there could be like 5.
Because in the novel, he tells Kylo Ren that Kylo Ren is the greatest student he's ever had. Which means obviously he's trained other. I hope there are more. I really hope that they since there is no rule of 2, why not have 3?
Well, that would. Let me tell you something. People right away would associate them with Sith, and they're not Sith. So
exactly.
If they threw that in a trailer for Episode 8, people would lose their shit. They would be like so happy. They're like,
and
oh my God.
I think it would be good for Snoke to say that in Episode 8, where so that differentiates him from Palpatine.
Because he's like, we're not Sith.
He could easily like Ren could say something like, I thought there could only be 2, and he says something along the lines of, I don't follow the order of the Sith or something like that.
Yeah, we're not the Sith, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Ren wouldn't say that. He would know automatically.
Yeah. Well, or you know what you could do? You could have Snoke kind of put the Sith down.
Yeah,
and try to be like, oh well, where are they now?
Yeah.
With their rule of 2. Yeah. So I mean, I totally agree with you. I think that there should be more than one, not like 100. I'm not saying like an army.
But see, that could be a thing. What they could do is if they introduce that into it, right?
Yeah.
And you find out that Snoke trained like tons of people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Even if they're victorious against the First Order at the end of 9, that could be a thing where like Rey's like, well, wait a minute, where's all his disciples?
Mm.
And that could be a whole thing where like 10, 11, and 12, where there's like all these like Knights of Ren running around. And it's like that, now they have to, it could be a thing where there's more Jedi and more, Knights of Ren, and then that's a different ball game with the First Order thrown in. And it'd be sort of like the Knights of the Old Republic, but like just the present time. Which
I want to know too. I want to know, where did the name Knights of Ren come from? Because I have to think, if Snoke is behind this,
right?
Why would he call them that?
Well, here's the thing: was Ren a Jedi that lost his way and then formed to get his own knights?
I mean,
in other words, Ren was not Kylo Ren. I'm talking about just like maybe the name Ren.
Yeah.
Was a Jedi Knight that didn't become a Sith.
Yeah.
But didn't want to be a Jedi either. He wanted to be his own thing. So he just created his own knights of himself and trained everybody. And one of his pupils was Snoke.
Well, I think that could be what happens. I really do. I remember one person, this is a long time ago, was like, you notice that Kylo Ren's mask almost looks like Revan's mask. And what if their actual name is the Knights of Revan, but they call themselves the Knights of Ren? And I was like, that could be possible.
Or maybe it was a pupil of Revan.
Could be.
That was Ren, and then whatever, yeah.
Because I think he's the next big character to come back into canon. Revan? I really do.
Why would he come back into canon?
He's dead, not in canon now.
But he's dead, isn't he?
Well, his story isn't canon at all.
I know, but last we saw him in the old canon.
Right.
Is he dead?
He's dead, but I mean, they could redo his story in this one.
Oh.
In the new canon.
Like Thrawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
I gotta tell you, I mean, I know I liked it when it was the Empire and just another organization that's not, like Stormtroopers. I'm not crazy about it, the First Order and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just be the Empire with somebody else ruling the Empire. You don't have, doesn't have to be, Emperor. I mean, if you're going to have an Emperor, it wouldn't have to be Emperor Palpatine. Yeah. It could be Emperor Snoke or whatever, Supreme Emperor Snoke or whatever. But I just don't like, to me, the First Order, like that thing, it's like too much like Nazis and whatever.
Well, I mean, this might make you feel better about it. I mean, in the most recent novel that they released, Aftermath Empire's End, the First Order is basically the Empire. It's the Empire that resurged into the galaxy.
I just don't understand why you would have to make a big change like that. Even because here's the thing, like we were talking about this before, right? If you're going to have a huge empire like that, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to put all your ducks in a pond. You're going to have like some go to other galaxies to be around.
They did.
Right.
Yeah.
And just when they come back, they don't even know what the fuck's happening. And they're like, oh, shit. So you could have the First Order, but then you could have the Empire show up because they think they're still around. And then somebody try to take over, like a Civil War type of thing.
Well, I mean, that may or may not have already happened. So we have to wait and see. But the First Order, I think some people thought that the First Order was a separate entity. But it's not. It actually is the Empire. It's the fractions of the Empire that left the galaxy and came back to try and reestablish their control.
And they changed the name too of the good guys. I mean, it was the rebels, and now it's the resistance.
The reason they did that is because the rebellion became the New Republic, and they are the galaxy government, the galaxy-wide government in current times. The reason they called them the Resistance is Leia wasn't getting the military support that she wanted to fight the First Order, so she broke off from the New Republic and formed this group called the Resistance. They didn't call themselves the Rebellion because technically it's not a rebellion.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense to do that.
Right.
That's why I personally like the idea of the Resistance, and I like what they do with the First Order because they explain that they realized Palpatine's way wasn't completely correct, and that's
Right.
why the Empire fell. So they want to be a new order, and that's why
Well,
they
the
call
people
themselves
that
the
were
First Order.
destroyed from the Star Killer, right?
Mhm.
Was that the Republic? Like, did they destroy all the Republic?
That was the central government of the Republic.
So they're done then.
Well, apparently that's a big part of 8 is that since the capital is gone, the whole galaxy is like, well, what the fuck do we do? Who's in control? Pardon my language.
So now you're gonna have a new Republic, I guess.
Someone's
right?
gonna, and I think that is someone's gonna try to bring control, and I think that is who Benicio del Toro's character is.
He's evil though, right?
I think he works for the First Order, but
Right.
it's perfect because think about it. If you're Snoke, you just took out their capital while everybody's trying to say who's in control. Hey, Benicio del Toro, go take over.
Put him in
And
there.
then you're my puppet leader. So
Right.
that's why I really like Snoke because he's manipulating this from the shadows like Palpatine, but he's doing it in a way that nobody basically knows he's around.
Right. Nobody
Almost.
knows who he is. Right.
Yeah, except for Leia and them.
Except for First Order, yeah. But she talks about Snoke like she knew who the whole Snoke was. Like he was a regular person that she was aware of.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She talked about Snoke like he was a regular player or around when, like, she knew him in detail.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think Luke told her about him.
No, maybe they just knew him personally.
It is possible. I mean, maybe he was a politician or something. Or who knows? Because we know he's not human, apparently.
Right.
So he had to be some form of alien.
Could it be that the Emperor, like, disfigured him or something? Or, like, just, like...
Yeah, I mean...
Could it be that he tried to take over, and he's
I think anything's possible with him
and
right
he just
now.
turned him into, like, left him for dead or something, and they just,
I think that he's probably had some sort of relationship with Palpatine, and I also think that he's connected to the Wills. I really do.
couldn't it be? You know
thing
how
like
they
that.
had they trained Grievous with
Yes.
the lightsabers and everything, and Dooku was doing weird stuff.
Yes.
Like, couldn't it be that, like, there were Sith that just didn't go by the Sith code and just had their own, like, pupils? I mean, the thing, it was just so weird how you only could have two, but yet there's stuff in the background. It's like, how is that? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
I think you're right. I definitely think that there were Sith who probably had more than one pupil, just in
Right,
case.
because there could be a faction of the Sith that just didn't believe in the rule of two crap.
Yeah.
And they said, "Nah, we ain't gonna go by that."
Well, the original Sith, I mean, in old canon, the original Sith didn't believe that. They had a whole empire.
Right.
It was because of that empire and the way it functioned, which hinted it didn't function at all because they all tried to kill each other, that Revan was like, there can only be a limited number of Sith, and then Darth Bane was like, there can only be two.
Right, but he's gone though now.
But he's
so
dead.
They could. I mean, could it be possible that they have more Sith?
Yeah, I think so.
They
Yeah.
reclaim the title of Sith.
I think that there are probably Sith out there who don't call themselves Sith because saying that about themselves, they're being something that they don't like.
Right.
So they probably go by a different name, but they're still dark side users.
Unless they shape it to their name now, because now
Sure.
that they're both gone, you Sith could come back with a whole bunch of, like, what the hell is this? Well, now that Palpatine has been and Vader, there's a new order with the Sith, and there's like 20 of them or whatever.
I think Disney's going to respect the thing that George Lucas set up with Anakin destroyed the Sith. So any dark side users from here are not going to be called Sith. They're going to be called something else.
I think it would be more simple to do it that way with the Sith, because you keep creating different names and organizations, you're going to confuse the shit out of your fan base.
Sure.
And I think that having Jedi and Sith, let's keep it that way. Like, now you're going to have Ren, and you're going to have this, and you're going to have that, and you have this. You're like, oh, well, he's not a Jedi, but he's not a Sith, but then he's a bad guy anyway. It's like people are just getting like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I would like it in the future if they made it more simplistic like that. There's no in between. It's either you're a Jedi or a Sith, and that's it. And I mean, if you're in between, that, something else. But, like, I don't like too many labels and too many opportunities for them to be 20 different types of factions for the Sith and the Jedi. It's like, well, there's a gray Jedi, there's a white Sith, or so. I mean, it's annoying to me. I mean, not to anybody else, but I'm just saying, like, I just want it simple. I don't want I don't want people to get a headache going into the movie and like, what's a gray Jedi or what's it is. They should just know what it is and that's it.
Well, I gotta tell you, I honestly think that you're gonna get that in what you want, like kind of the cut and dry thing. I think you're gonna get that. However, I have a very funny feeling that it's not gonna be Jedi and Sith. It's gonna be two evolved versions of those things.
So now the Knights of Ren are evil.
Yeah, they're dark side.
So then, what's the flip of the coin of that? That's not.
Well,
Jedi.
I would say the Jedi.
No, but it's not Jedi. I'm saying like there's got to be like an opposite of the Ren.
Well, I think that's what Rey's gonna establish. I think she's gonna establish whatever order that would be.
Whatever the hell she's gonna be.
Yeah, because I think her and Luke are gonna be some form of gray Jedi at some point. Because they're definitely getting away from the light side.
How though?
Dark side thing. Not that they're getting away from it, but I think that Luke is going to, like he did in the old canon, he's going to have a more complete teachings of the Force for his students.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like he's training these people, right?
Yeah.
But he's not going against his teachings with Yoda and everything where they should go back to the prequels where they have that whole place. They're reestablished where they train the Jedi at a young age, right?
Yeah, he didn't do that even in the old canon. He changed things.
He did his own thing. And that's not technically the Jedi way. That's the Luke way. So, I mean, that's how things went wrong. So, like, if you go back to the archives and if you looked at different things and you talk with the Master, even though he's dead, Yoda, and everybody else, and you do it the way it's supposed to be done, there's less a chance of someone turning or whatever. You know, you're more... You know, if you're more educated as a teacher, you're gonna have better students. You know, it's like a thing. I don't understand the whole concept of Luke, and I don't know what he took him in weird places, and why can't you just reestablish, you know, the Jedi home, which was what planet was? Did they destroy that or? Well,
it depends on what you're talking about. Coruscant?
Yeah.
Coruscant actually isn't their home. Coruscant is where they had their main temple.
Well, that's what I mean. That's where everybody gathered to make decisions.
In the old canon, their original home planet was called Tython, I believe.
Right, but I'm just saying Coruscant. That's where he needed to go. But did that get wiped out in Force Awakens?
Yes. No. Coruscant is still around.
Okay.
But what happened was in the new canon, the Jedi Temple is not there anymore.
What do you mean?
Palpatine tore it down.
Okay.
And he built his palace on top of it as kind of like the final, nail in the coffin to the order.
Right.
So it's not there anymore. So Luke went to Ahch-To because apparently that's the very first Jedi temple.
I see.
And I think the reason he went there is to try and get the original teachings, like the most pure form of them. Mm-hmm. Because you have to think that as time went on, the teachings changed a bit because no lesson stays the same. So I think he went back to look for the most pure teachings of the Jedi.
Okay.
To try and see maybe where he went wrong.
Right.
Which makes sense to me. I mean, that would be the most logical thing for someone to do. Hey, my way didn't work. Maybe I should go back to the original way.
Right. Makes sense.
And maybe those teachings are different than what we saw in the prequels. Maybe at that point the teachings were just so different that Jedi of old would look at those Jedi in episodes 1, 2, and 3 and be like, what are you doing?
Is there a possibility that stuff could go really bad in these movies for the Jedi or for whatever Luke and Rey is, and that there's a possibility that there are Jedi left that are not Jedi anymore that he has to recruit? Like is Mace Windu around or whoever's around or whatever? I mean,
I don't know about him, but I think that there are probably other Jedi out there who survived the Purge and
if they're not Jedi, then they don't have to go by Jedi rules and they can train their own.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we're basically in a period in Star Wars where there's not many Jedi and there's
too much chaos going on right now.
That's the thing. I think that's kind of the beauty of the First Order is that they're trying to bring peace to the chaos, but everybody else is trying to do that too. So you have like conflict of interest, and that's why
I kind of
it's
want
an
like
issue.
organization. Like, I mean,
I think
I want episode 8 to be more, like we get the real layout of the First Order, we get a layout of Snoke, all this different things. Like Luke, like I mean, what's the purpose of you hiding if the things went wrong? I mean, did you not want to fight your nephew? I mean, what was the thing?
Yeah, they definitely need to explain that. Definitely.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you just left someone that has potential to restart the Empire and undo everything you, Han, and Leia did.
Yeah.
So why are you chilling on an island? Like, I mean, unless he's just destroyed emotionally and he just can't handle it.
I think that's part of it. I think maybe he saw what had happened and he was like, this is my fault and I have to.
And they're screaming at him, probably like Yoda, whoever, they're screaming at him like, what are you doing? And he's not listening.
Well, maybe, you know what it is? Maybe he's like, my father turned to the dark side. Now my nephew turned to the dark side. It never ends. It's like it just never ends. So what's the point?
But didn't the thing where you're still in contact with Yoda?
Oh, I think definitely.
Wasn't that supposed to be a thing in Force Awakens?
Yeah, yep.
And they just didn't show it, or they didn't want to, yeah. So now could it be like you'll see Yoda, look, you gotta, I mean, but the thing is, we're hearing stuff that he has no idea who the hell she is. Now, is that he abandoned his teachings as a Jedi to even look for it? Or he hasn't used the Force, he hasn't used anything?
I don't know. It's possible. I mean,
if he gave up being a Jedi, if he gave up being a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Gave up the Force and just live as a hermit somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he lost his way. He lost his, everything.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even know who she is because he's not one with the Force anymore.
Yeah, he probably, and I think that's what Episode 8 is going to be really about, is him reestablishing not his connection with the Force, but getting back into the fight and reclaiming who he is. And
now, is he going to be crazy? Is he going to be like insane, where like he's just talking gibberish and?
I don't think he's going to be crazy. I don't think he's going to be crazy, but I have a funny feeling he's going to be very cold. Like he's going to be very stern. He's not going to be the Luke that we, the fun Luke from Episode 4, or the confident Luke from Episode 5 or 6. I think he's going to be very cold.
Luke.
Yeah, and he's going to be very, like you said, defeated. And I think that he's going to be very quick to snap at her at times, and that's going to be like one of the things like, whoa, we've never seen Luke yell at somebody like that before. And then maybe Yoda and Obi-Wan have to convince him, like, hey, listen, she's your last chance to make this right.
So you think Obi-Wan's going to be, the voice of Obi-Wan's going to be, like, Ewan McGregor's going to be in Episode 8, like just an image?
I certainly hope him and Yoda are, and I got to tell you, too, I also think we're going to see a Force Ghost Anakin at some point, but I think the twist is going to be that he's going to appear to Kylo Ren.
Why? If he's good, why would?
I mean, that's his grandson.
But as a good, like he was a good Force ghost. I mean, in
Anakin,
Jedi.
yeah. Yeah. I think the twist is going to be that he appears to Kylo Ren while Ren is still on the dark side, and Anakin's going to be kind of maybe what tethers him back to the light or something like that.
But he's going to look like Darth Vader?
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
He's going to look like Hayden Christensen?
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be Hayden Christensen, you think?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of Return of the Jedi, that version is canon with Hayden Christensen.
So that's what he's going to be, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to go. I mean,
yeah, because you know what? I don't think it worked anyway when they showed the other one, the original, like when he was.
And I think that actor passed away, so it's like, you can't get him. You could recast him, but we're gonna have a third Anakin now. It's like, come on.
All right, very good talk. I love when we have these nice long discussions with Star Wars and stuff like that.
There's always a lot to talk about with Star Wars stuff.
Always.
And we got even more coming.
We could always go on
this next cast. This next cast is going to be crazy because I got to tell you this story that we're getting, and I'm pretty excited for it.
All right, so we'll be back. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye for now.